again by getting that second win against the PCS team to actually get to the point where we could be qualifying for the second stage of the playoffs. It's yet to happen, but now that we're in game, it's Team Bliss with the chance to make it.
And with these drafts, as far as early game plans are going to go, you have to imagine Team Bliss are going to play around this Sejuani-Renekton combo. Very strong combo. Lots of pings going out. Gemini being forced back a little bit, but nothing too exciting happening. This Rumble should be killable for the Renekton Sejuani. Otherwise, very difficult to gank the rest of these lanes for Kevi.
You want to know a bit of trivia?
Go on.
Hello. So the first ever game an LCO team won against the PCS was the Chiefs back in the spring of last year.
Yeah, Bio on Renekton, right?
That's right, but it was also Kevi on Sejuani.
Right, okay.
So we have at least those two exact replicas, those mirror matchups from the spring of 23. We have that in the game. That game was BioPanther completely 1v9ing.
Yeah, Renekton not quite in his glory days.
Yeah, no Gore Drinker.
Yeah, is missing that. But still a very strong champion that can take over games with builds like the Eclipse build, which I think he should definitely be going for that over the tankier Black Cleaver.
Yeah, I think he'll get
builds.
an early Hex Drinker.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But yeah, I think the more damaged focused Renekton builds seem to just perform better. At least here in the PCS. I'm not entirely sure globally, but Hayri taking a massive chunk of his health away.
Yeah, that is just life against Aurora. There's no such thing as a winning trade for Corki, I don't think. Several dashes on Aurora, which immediately makes her quite good into Corki, who has to max the Phosphorus Bomb now. As well as just short trades feel amazing on
just the one at this stage, though, and it is a lot of mana. I think it's 80 mana at the start of the game, as well as, I think, something like a 15-second cooldown. So you do have to definitely time that W extremely well if you are the Aurora player, but in general, you kind of just get to walk up to someone, auto-attack it, throw out a Q. If you land the Q, well, you've won the trade, because that's automatically going to be your Electrocute proc, as well as that additional damage and healing you get from the passive. That's so absurd.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about what I just said, it's like, damn, it's just like the list of things that happens continues.
Yeah, Harry lands a nice Phosphorus Bomb there, but just the QE out of the Aurora procs the Electrocute so easily, and it's a really difficult trading pattern to play around, and later in the game it starts just taking 80% of people's HP off.
Yeah, and gives her 8 million move speed and healing.
And that is before we talk about maybe the strongest ultimate in the game.
Yeah, you'd have that. Maybe Silas, because Silas can take it.
Yeah, true.
But in all seriousness, yeah, it is a very absurd champ.
Yeah, Kaiwing actually, nice little heads-up play, grabs the Scryer Bloom and clears that Tri-Brush ward. So Team Bliss, if they ever get out from under their tower, have to be a little worried about the flank. But
talking about from under their tower, Jiang under his, and Kevi's up here looking for something. It could work out. This is a dive that could work out, but it could also go exceedingly wrong.
Yeah, I think it's too hard to crash a wave now.
Yeah, it's the wave's in a really rough position to trying it to crash. No actual complaints about where the wave is for that isolated 1v1, but certainly doesn't allow itself for any form of dive. As Hayri will be teleporting back to this lane, as well as Jimmy did so as well. Now, importantly, he wasn't able to get the Lost Chapter.
Yeah, that is a big deal for any of these AP champions in the mid lane. Mana suffers a bit if you cannot get Lost Chapter first back. Corki feels great recalling on a tier. As maybe it's BioPanther getting dived. He's taken a horrible trade at some point.
Oh yeah, Gemini's going to be able to find in the flash. Okay, not going to use it.
Oh,
who can be up here? No one. Kaiwing can. Kaiwing is here. This is going to be a 3-man dive. Look to what Bliss can do on the other side of the map, but BioPanther, how's he going to navigate his way out of this?
Yeah, won't have E up on this Renekton for a long time. Kaiwing should just be able to walk up.
Kaiwing flash down. There comes the chain CC, and there's absolutely nothing BioPanther can do there. Simply just get that CC, completely chain it. There's no chance to even flash, and Jiang will pick up his first blood here in the first game.
Yeah, easy as that, and I think any hopes of this Renekton carrying the game are thwarted now because he is just going to be playing catch-up to Jiang this entire game.
Oh, like, how is that fair?
He even missed the Q on the
he
Aurora.
hit it, but it was an auto attack. And just, yeah.
Team Bliss will trade the Dragon. This is pretty good if they get the Dragon for their top laner going down.
There's typically something. No, but I dare suggest Gemini will be able to pick up those Void Grubs 30 seconds until they spawn. We'll see, though. The problem you're going to have is that now Yijang will hit level 6 first, most likely, and it's just very difficult to navigate around a level 6 Rumble, even though you will have a level 6 Renekton.
And same as their first series, Team Bliss are putting high priority on this dragon, and that is contributing to why they're able to make these comebacks. It's a lot easier to make these comebacks when the enemy team is not stacking dragons on you. You get so much more time. Aladoric trying to save this plate, but to no avail. Highwing does have Demolish.
Yep, Demolish procced, and it's going to be Wako and Kaiwing picking up that plate gold. Gemini, as I said, will be starting up on these grubs. Now Jung putting down the pink ward, spots out Kevy. Let's see if he comes and tries to contest for any of them. Gemini keeping his smite up.
Level 6 should be much stronger for the Renekton right now, so I think you cannot contest this.
Hayri's out of health.
Look at mid lane.
Gemini gets one. Now Kevy, he has to be careful because, once again, it will be a 3v2 at best for the side of Frank Esports, at least in favor of them, but Void Grubs handily picked up here by Gemini, so it is eventually a trade of those objectives anyway.
Yeah, Kevy would love to try smite this away. Gemini does not have a smite, and I'm sure Kevy is aware of this, but the Aurora can just so easily catch you out that you can't. On Sejuani, a lot of the time you can just be there and dash out after you steal it, but Aurora will just trap you in. Wako is mega chunked in the bot lane.
Oh, and Jiang doing the solo queue special. Other top laners forced to go for that recall without being able to crash it, and now all of a sudden there is a massive wave stacking outside Yijang's tower, and there's no jungler on that side to punish him looking for this freeze.
Yeah, and Gemini can actually hang out here for a while. I wonder if he gets 6 off of doing these 2 topside camps.
Violet.
Ooh, nice ulti by Violet.
A lot of damage done to Kaiwing, low health bars, and Team Bliss are feeling pretty good in this bottom lane at the moment.
Yeah, they're crushing bot lane.
Kevy's here, they're looking for a dive. Kaiwing, if he recalls, Wako is just going to be left to the wolves. Gemini trying to get down here and maybe look to try save his AD carry. Both sums available. No level 6 here for Kevy, which is important. A bit of damage coming through from the Essence Flux, and now Gemini arrives. Will be able to save this Zeri.
Yeah, they decide to call the dive off. I think just because of how low Violet's mana is and not level 6 on the Alistar yet. If that was a level 6 Alistar, that's definitely a dive that Team Bliss would go for, but both Sejuani and Ali on level 5 makes it risky in a 2v3. Kevy does hit 6 now.
Level 6 also for Gemini, and he's not really looking for a kill here, although if Violet gets hit by a random Zenith Blade, maybe he is going to force out a lot of mana now away from Violet, as he did have to use that Arcane Shift. Meanwhile, top lane is going about as Rumble lanes go.
Yeah, Hexdrinker does not seem to have helped these trades, as Bio is almost 20 CS down. We'll catch a little bit under his tower here.
I think what Hexdrinker does is stop you from just dying straight up.
Yeah, makes the dives a little more difficult too, and is useful against the enemy mid laner. Double AP solo lanes.
Yeah.
So he'll always going to feel good.
And he'll also be able to pick up Merc Treads this game.
Yeah.
Obviously, being against Young, they're very good against the Leona, and the Magic Resist again against Jimmy, and will feel very good. So he does have access, and building MR is going to be a strong build for the Renekton in this game.
Yeah,
but the problem is you're going to lose out on damage.
Yeah, you do wish he just had more gold on him, right? Because of how good the itemization is going to be. They're hanging in there for now, Biopanther. See if he can maintain this deficit and not allow Jiang to grow it anymore.
Yeah, 1.5k gold is the lead here for Frank Esports. If you remember the graphic before the game, it was about 3.4k they set it at a negative at 14 minutes.
Yeah, which is an insane average. Now, Kaiwing has moved to the mid lane, and Alistar has met him there. So it should be nothing happening here. So, I imagine Corki still is a champion that outscales. This champion scales so ridiculously well that it should still be stronger than the Aurora.
Oh, it depends. You can poke, but Aurora's ult is
she has so much utility.
So ridiculous. I think Aurora, to me, kind of feels, in some ways, to like a similar way, you know? Like, it doesn't scale necessarily that well because items do very well against her, but it is always as well just going to be able to find the most damage in a fight because of the AoE available. You're also very safe, you know? You've got a reset on an ability that gives you a slight dash and an invisibility, so you're able to prance around these team fights like nothing.
Yeah, Kaiwing and Gemini able to group up a little quicker than the Team Bliss jungle and support are, meaning they get some control over the river. Aldork's going to find Gemini here, though.
Yeah, knock up. Gonna maybe look for the pulverize. Not able to find it, and Gemini's in a lot of trouble here. But oh no, things have gone awry, and the world is going all one way. But Jimmy's not going to be able to find anything just now. Violet, on the other hand, though, he is being looked at. He is going to taken down, and that's a 2v1. Aldork trying to find something on Gemini. Unfortunately, abilities just missed a little bit too much, and Violet's the one that gets punished.
Yeah, Team Bliss messed up with their numbers advantage, and Frank did not. They pick up a kill on Violet in the bot lane. Was doing very well for himself.
Oh, it's just a dry solar flare if you look at the picture-in-picture, and then gets the sums out, and Kaiwing, as accurate as ever, able to flash, land that Zenith Blade, and all that's left there is the damage. Yeah, they're looking for something here. Gemini, no ult, no flash. He's going to be a little bit stuck here in this pit. Is the Dragon getting taken down very low? He will be taken out, and no matter of fact, it's also going to be this Dragon going over, and a double kill even for Harry, but Jimmy, he's completely untouched in this fight. He's going to be able to find a double. Actually, Wako's the one that finds a double, and they're going forward still. It's Violet's going to arrive at this fight, but Jimmy bouncing back, looking for that Q, not going to connect, and they are going to disengage. The Dragon picked up there by Kevy. A double kill for Harry, but a double kill answered by Wako.
Yeah, you've got a 3-0 Zeri to deal with plenty of setup in this game. This is going to be a big problem, especially for BioPanther, who's a bit starved on gold this game and is going to be itemizing magic resist. This is going to be a very squishy Renekton into this Zeri. And yeah, so we've got, I mean, you kind of get why Team Bliss are contesting this. Aurora loses so much power without her ulti. Jimmy does not have that ultimate, but Wako is so strong in this fight, goes completely untouched. So Harry has to flash in to finish off these kills too, and Wako's just been free hitting this whole time. So has Jimmy, and honestly. And yeah, Harry goes down quickly. Kevy hangs around a bit. It looks dangerous, but Violet is there in time to bail him out, and Team Bliss are on the...
Yeah, time for Void Grubs now, and importantly, there were no ults available, right? Zeri had no Lightning Crash, Jimmy no ult, Gemini no ult, Kaiwing also no ult in that last fight, and it was still ultimately an even trade. Now all those ults have come back up. Frank are going to be able to just bully their way for these Void Grubs. I think that last fight was a fantastic identification by Team Bliss to realize, yeah, our AD carry's not here yet, but they have literally no ultimates.
Yeah.
It should be very winning. Now, I'd have to go over and watch it like another 10 times to work out how it ended up being even, but maybe it's just target selection, because as you said, Wako without ult was just able to output so much damage, which generally you shouldn't be able to do as Zeri.
Yeah, just the jungle and support focused by the side of Team of Frank, and Harry was able to be focused a little bit earlier, I think, and that made the difference. Sejuani just completely ignored in that fight. Can't really do much at this point in the game. Had no ulti himself on Kevy. But yeah, you are right. They were actually just down all 4 ultimates on the side of Frank, and Team Bliss do get themselves the Dragon.
Yeah, and a double kill importantly on Harry. And, you know, we've seen what these Alcio mid laners, Fido, especially in that series against Sengoku, very, very talented and capable of carrying these late game team fights. As the Corki hold up, though, Wako might be in a bit of a rough position. Aldork finding him, but the Zenith Blade turned around, and here comes the Soul Flare as well. So much damage. Wako's just free hitting, but here comes that True Shot Barrage. It's a lot of damage now. Wako kind of out of this fight as Harry's going to arrive here, but Jimmy is finding his way in. Watch out. Oh, it's going to hit everyone. Aldork's out, and Harry does manage to get out of there, but Wako's flashing forward. He's going to not go for Harry, but he does pick up a triple kill, and I thought Zeri was out of the fight, but how wrong I was.
Yeah, Wako gets himself up to 6-0 now, and this game maybe just became impossible. Harry's being chased down by Gemini.
Gemini's managed to find his way onto Harry, but Harry's going to be able to get himself out of that position. But we have an insanely scary Zeri to deal with, and I think that fight right there just epitomizes the strength of this Aurora champ.
Yeah, I mean, what a ridiculous ult from Jimmy, and the fact that this ultimate, you can dash over the walls as well with the ultimate. As Aldork is just way overextended here because Wako has both sums. Even if Kevy is able to follow this up, it's really only ever Kevy. And you just don't have the damage to finish Wako here. Nice ulti out of the Ezreal, but once Jimmy arrives to this fight, you kind of already know what's happening once he's standing in this spot and finds every member of Team Bliss. You see the Corki there can actually make it out of the ulti just in time. So it does spare Harry. He does eventually get away, but 3 kills go over to the Zeri. Yeah, this game is just blown up.
They also got that bot tower to top it off. That would have been the first blood. Now Jimmy laning up against BioPanther. Honestly, it doesn't really matter who lanes against BioPanther. He's going to suffer anyway.
Yeah.
There's no real way for him to get on and stay on, importantly. the Aurora.
5K the gold lead.
Yeah.
So Wako gets on.
Looked at. He doesn't have his flash available. And oh my god, no way. There's no way he makes it out. And he does. Gemini, though, he might be paying for Wako's sins, and he doesn't. In comes Jiang. Jiang, he's going to flash away as well. It's a fantastic series of play there out of Team Bliss, but by God, do you wish you picked up that 550 gold shutdown.
Yeah, that would have been an incredible shutdown to pick. You needed it on the Ezreal. They don't manage to get it onto Violet, but they will pick up this Rift Herald as 3 members of Frank get away there on slivers of HP.
Yeah, I can't believe Wako made it out of there. But he ends up
engaged now,
being able to do so. Kaiwing's in there. He does use that solar flare, and down comes that red carpet as Harry's stuck in the pit. He can't even contribute. This is the guy that picked up 2 of your early kills. Jimmy's on the black. There's a massive, massive ultimate potential. They do get the first kill to Team Bliss, but 5 people all locked up. And it is a massive team fight. This Aurora champ needs nerfs desperately as Frank get the ace. Only Gemini goes down, and it's a quadra for Wako.
Yeah, Wako gets himself up to 10-0 now. This game could be over very quickly, and I think it will be. I don't think you can leave this Aurora champion open.
Yeah, things are looking rough here as Wako, I mean, he has just got so much gold. They claim 2 towers. They're going to get another crash even, and this tower might just go down to all the Void Mites. Aladoric, he's getting some deep vision. The Dragon is up, and Jimmy's top. No teleport available for the Aurora.
Yeah.
But I think Wako by himself can probably just take over one fight.
Yeah, it felt like about a minute or 2 ago, I said the gold lead was 5K. Now it's ballooned up to 10K. Harry, I thought this was a very ill-advised engage by Frank. Unfortunately, Harry Valkyrie's along the Rumble ulti, but he does do okay on Biopanther. Actually looks pretty intimidating in this fight. But this is all happening while Aurora is not even there, and I believe that is a 5-man Aurora ultimate.
Yeah.
Every member of Team Bliss trapped in there. Violet eventually chased down. Nice snipe by Wako. Nowhere for Violet to go to dodge out of that one.
Yeah, deadly accurate. Now Frank, I mean, they've got complete control over the map. Team Bliss, they were able to get those 2 dragons, so that buys them 10 minutes of time if you're thinking about just the dragon win condition. But I think just with how far ahead Frank are now, and, you know, admittedly, it's similar to game 1 of the last time these 2 teams met. It's time to start thinking about game number 2. It seems like Team Bliss are capable of doing that because, again, you know, last series they found themselves at pretty much this exact position.
Yeah. And I can imagine what exactly they're thinking about for game 2 on the side of Team Bliss.
I think there's only one thing you can think about.
Yeah, well, it was just, I mean, you know, I don't want to hyper-fixate on the Aurora. It's not the only thing that happened this game, but all the key moments of this game were just decided by Aurora ultimates.
And Wako benefiting off them, right? He is 10-0, of course, yeah, he's played very well, but a lot of it comes down to the Aurora ult as Kivy is seemingly just caught out here up on the top side, gets stunned up, and Wako might just be here to claim himself at an 11th.
Yep. Gemini picks that up. There's no Baron even up yet for Frank to take. They're just going to pressure all the lanes, and they kind of do have to just slow down now. There's not much for them to do this early in the game.
Now they can now get the side of Team Bliss, you know, try and wait to get that 2-item spike on because they have the Israel, they have the Corki. Massive spike for both those champs. If they can somehow slow down the pace, that could be a legitimate way in because we've seen Frank have a tendency to throw the game as they will be almost certainly picking up this tower thanks to that equalizer, although Violet as well as Harry able to clear out that wave.
Yeah, good wave clear on these carries from the side of Team Bliss, but it's only a matter of time before this tower goes down. You cannot defend this 4v5 with how much gold they are down. Yeah,
Jimmy sneaking over there, does go invisible, but wisely, Team Bliss too far away, not going to be able to use that Aurora ult to cause absolute devastation again.
Yep, TP bought to keep the pressure on from Jimmy and just wants to get as much farm as he can. CSing very well. Wako with the Bloodthirster now. I like the life steal picked up for him. Just make him that much harder to shut down.
Yeah, I might have liked... I guess he is against a lot of poke. I think Shield Bow, like, that item's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
The Bloodthirster, I mean, ultimately, if you get chunked out by Violet or Harry, it is nice to have access to getting that health back up, because obviously the Bloodthirster in the split does not have any lifesteal on that item.
Yeah, it does feel bad if you're in 11-0's area and you do get chunked and can't contribute to a fight. You are so much of your team's gold.
Looks like Jimmy with just how this game's going, and honestly the item build's coming out because of their team composition, just going to go for that third item, Void Staff. I imagine we would see the same out of Yijiang, perhaps would be the Crypt Bloom, but one of the two in any regard.
Yeah, has to be the Void Staffs, but honestly, if you're Team Bliss, it doesn't even feel like you can stack magic resist engage now.
Yeah, I mean, just Carving going in at nauseam. Here comes the Equalizer. It's a fantastically placed one, but Aladok with that flash does get himself out. Ultimately, you know, the trade of ults coming through here from that support and top laner is Carving getting very low, and the Glacial Prison comes through, lands onto Yijiang. Carving 1 HP, Ignite ticking, not going to find him though, and it's Jimmy on the back line. He's locking up 3 members, and those 3 members are gone now as reset does come through for Gemini and Hayri, and Kevy with it all to do as their mid lane inhib does just get taken out. Now, Frank, do they keep the pressure on, or do they look for the end? They're staying in the base, and teleport available for Yijiang as Gemini, maybe the best Ezreal on the server here, as he's just landing absolutely everything onto Hayri, who is completely separated from this mid lane wave. It's 21 minutes in. It's a 3v5 teleport from Yijiang. Kaiwing still going forward as Hayri can't reach the base. 2 Nexus towers down. The Nexus all to take left, but Wako's farming damage. And game number 1 goes to Frank Esports.
Yeah, and an immaculately played Aurora game out of Jimmy.
Yep.
Very well played by him. He did a really good job of, you can use the Aurora to engage, but he did a really good job of just waiting till some of these cooldowns were expended by the carries on the side of Team Bliss. Once you don't have your dashes, the Aurora ulti just has that much more impact, and every time he pushed that R button, it just felt like calamity for the side of Team Bliss's. What is there even to say?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, a little disheartened are the players of Team Bliss so far, but again, you know, this is only game number 1. This is the same position they found themselves in the first time these two teams went up against, and I think, you know, similar to that time, if you remember back, they had sort of a 2v2 down bot lane that went really pear-shaped a couple times in a row, and it's like, well, we lost because of that. It's fine. Like, we just don't make that mistake again. We can win the next one. And while, yes, Wako